Have you ever had that feeling that a system that's supposed to be protecting you just isn't there? It's like a ghost. Well, today we're talking about a real ghost of governance, a critical government department that by its own leader's admission has pretty much been a no-show for years. And guess what? It's been costing you money probably every single day. So let's pull back that curtain. Wow, okay, this is the bombshell that kicked this whole thing off, and get this. This isn't from some secret source or a reporter digging around. This came straight from the top guy, the minister in charge of legal metrology and Meghalaya. He said he was shocked. His own words. And that one admission, well, it just blew the lid off a system that's basically been in a state of collapse. So, this all boils down to a really simple and honestly a very personal question for all of us. When you're at the grocery store, when you're filling up your car, just going about your day, are you actually getting what you paid for? As we're about to find out, the answer is, well, it's kind of worrying. All right, so let's start at the beginning. Let's really unpack what went down in that review meeting on December 4th and 5th, 2025. This is the moment the truth about this long-standing failure came spilling out. Now, a word like shocking is powerful, for sure, but the numbers are just undeniable. Let's take a look at the hard data, because this really shows you the true scale of the problem. 13, that's it, just 13. Let that number sink in for a second. That is the grand total of inspectors responsible for making sure every transaction, every weight and measure is fair across the entire state of Meghalaya. Only 13 people. And this chart right here just shows you how impossible that math is. You've got 11 districts in Meghalaya and 13 inspectors. That's barely one inspector per district. I mean, how on earth is one person supposed to check hundreds, maybe thousands, of markets, shops, and petrol pumps? The short answer? They can't. It's impossible. And that leads you to a really critical realization. This isn't just, a simple staffing shortage. It's what you'd call a structural problem. It's a system that seems perfectly designed to fail. When you have this few people, non-enforcement isn't a bug in the system. It's the main feature. And here are the results of that broken system, again, straight from the minister. Since the department was formed, only a small number of cases unacceptable. So think about that. People were complaining. They knew something was wrong. But with almost no one to investigate, very few of the bad guys were ever caught. The system wasn't just understaffed. It was completely, totally unresponsive. Okay, so you might be thinking, this is some bureaucratic mess, why should I care? Well, this is where it stops being an abstract problem and starts being something that directly hits you. This is where that ghost of governance literally reaches right into your wallet. The job of this department is actually super simple. Their whole purpose is to make sure a kilo is actually a kilo, and a liter is actually a liter. They're supposed to be out there doing regular inspections, and surprise ones, to protect all of us as consumers. That's the promise, anyway. Does any of this sound familiar? I bet it does. Short weighing at the market, weird readings at the petrol pump, getting an LPG cylinder that feels a little light. These are the exact complaints people have been making for years. These aren't just minor annoyances. They're everyday ways people are getting ripped off. Just think about something as simple as buying vegetables. If you're consistently sold 900 grams but you're paying for a full kilogram, that little 10% theft, it adds up. Over a year, that's a lot of your money just vanishing. Or what about the fuel pump? I mean, gas expensive enough without having to worry that the meter's been tampered with? Every single time you fill up, even a tiny shortage, is a direct hit to your bank account, all made possible because there was literally no one watching. So, the big question is, why? Why has this been allowed to happen for so long? Let's zoom out from the individual scams and look at the root cause, a system that was, for all intents and purposes, broken right from the start. This slide right here says it all. The law, the mandate, says there should be regular and surprise inspections. But the reality, the admitted reality, is that inspectors rarely even left the office. You can't have a bigger gap between what's on paper and what's actually happening on the ground. And here's probably the biggest reason why. The minister had to demand a report. That tells you everything you need to know. It means there were no basic systems in place to even track if inspections were happening. No spreadsheets, no logs, nothing. Nobody was watching the watchers. But, okay, the story doesn't just end in failure. The minister's shocking discovery has actually led to a brand new directive. This could be a real turning point. So here's the new plan. Step 1. Inspectors are now ordered to actually go out and do their jobs. Conduct field checks. Step 2, they've got 60 days to report back on what they find. And step 3, the public is now being urged to report any violations, but this time with the promise that someone will actually be listening. And listen to the language here from the additional secretary. They're now officially acknowledging that these are long-standing irregularities. That's government speak for, yeah, we know this has been a mess for years, and we're publicly promising to finally do something about it. Which brings us to the final part of this story, and it might just be the most important part. Because official promises are one thing, but real, lasting change, that often requires a little push from us, the public. So here's a challenge for you. Why not become a citizen inspector? Test the system yourself. Next time you buy a kilogram of anything, take it home and weigh it. Start tracking your car's mileage right after you fill the tank. And maybe most importantly, demand transparency. Ask the department to publish their monthly inspection data online for everyone to see. This timeline really sums up the whole journey. It all started back in December 2025 when the crisis was finally revealed. Right now, we're in this crucial 60-day window where action is mandated. But the future, well, whether the system truly gets fixed for good, that depends on all of us staying vigilant. And that really leaves us with this one big thought to chew on. We all rely on government systems to look out for us, to protect us. But when those systems become ghosts, when they exist in name only, does the job of being an inspector ultimately fall back on us? It's a really interesting question to think about.